Hello and welcome back to a short message for you. I have a feeling this isn't actually going to be a short message. I think it's probably going to be longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to upload this as a short, and then the extended I'm going to upload with it. And then I will connect the extended to it down below in case you want to watch the whole thing if you feel called to do that. So this is a message for someone's loved one who has... This is a message for someone whose loved one has passed away. I feel like it's a grandmotherly energy. I feel like it's a motherly energy, but I want you to take this as it resonates to you, okay? Whether you've lost a male or a female or a they, them, I want you to take it how it goes to you, because I'm actually being told that this has been a devastating loss. This has been a loss that is so grievous that you are unable to cope. You are unable to come out of the well. You are unable to, it's almost like if you could stay in bed and just lay there in heartache, you would. And the problem is that you can't stay there. You can't stay there forever. You have to sun your petals. At some point, you have to get out of bed. You can't Sally Owens it for months on end. You just can't. And I'm being told by your person that they need you to stop mourning them. It's not that you can't miss them. It's not that you can't love them. It's not that you can't want them there. The problem is wanting them there is so consuming that it is all you're thinking about. You're not even thinking about the sun. You're not sunning your petals. For the love of God, that came out reversed. It should be here. You should be sunning your petals. You're not sunning your petals. You're not sunning your petals. You're not having patience with yourself or anybody around you because your grief is so much that you physically are struggling to get away from it. Like if you could push it over there for a while and be able to think, you would be feeling a lot better. And I'm being told you have to stop. This is not helpful. It's not only is this not helpful for you, but it's not helpful for them on the other side, because they're sitting there feeling guilty, thinking of, well, I could have done all these things. And then on the other side, other people are looking at them going, hey, this was what the life path was. You can't sit there and wish that you had done this, 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 and this, because you're here now. You died when you were supposed to, and in the way that you were supposed to, whether anybody likes it or not, that's the way it happened. That's the way it was supposed to. And you have to, on the other side, stop doubting yourself because you did it right. So you're making people on the other side doubt themselves because your grief is so large. And this isn't that large grief where we can sit there and go, okay, yeah, this is really, really understandable. I mean, I'm going to give you the example. My cousin Chris, when her husband passed away, she grieved for 10 years, but then she stopped grieving. And I'm being told that you're someone that you're going to carry this for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. You're going to die in grief. This is how big this is. And I'm being told you're just going to lose patience with everybody and alienate everybody around you. I'm literally being told that if you do not change now, the direction of your life path is going that way. You need it to keep going straight, or even better off this way for more success so that it can, come back. No, you're going this way and you're not going back on the path, and you're going to wander around the wrong side of town for a long time. You're going to do a lot of things that you probably shouldn't do that are a wee bit addictive, including things that your doctor gives you, because you cannot cope with this death. I don't feel like this is the death of a child or a teenager. I feel like this is the death of a parent, of a grandparent, of a person, a spouse, an aunt, an uncle, somebody who was so significant in your life that now you cannot function without them. I do not feel like this is a child of any age, because I'm being told in that situation, the grief, although there, and although this does happen, that's not the same grief. This is a grief that You knew your person was sick. You knew this was going on. Or you woke up one day and they were passed away. The other side says the pity party has left. The pity train has left. And they need you to change actively. Not only for yourself, but for the spirit on the other side that's being dragged along with this. Because that spirit is exhausted and they feel like they did something wrong on their life path. And I'm being told they didn't do anything wrong. Their life path lived the way it was supposed to. So no matter how they ended, your life path is now supposed to keep going. Your life path is supposed to heal. Your life path is supposed to mend and go on and be where it's supposed to be so that you can live and grow and go and be older than they ever were. If they died of a drug overdose, the point is, you have now seen this and this is not what you want anymore, so you're walking away from it in your own time space because nothing is easy to stop taking. Unless you go cold turkey. And that's what I did and I don't recommend it. Klonopin, don't go cold turkey. Unless, of course, you're in Klonopin psychosis like I was, and then you kind of don't have a choice. And that's very hard to go through being clairvoyant. They need you to know that your very existence is a gift. They need you to know that you didn't lose yourself, even if you think you did. They passed away. You feel like you have lost who you are. You have lost absolutely nothing. You just have to recognize that other part of yourself. That part of yourself that is sad, that is injured, that you've never met because you've always had that person right there by your side. I also have, you're losing a pound a day regardless of your weight. So I really have a feeling someone might have even stopped eating. And as somebody with a eating disorder, when we're stressed out, we stop eating to feel better. Sometimes we even start eating more to feel better. Sometimes we start dieting and exercise to feel better. Those are eating disorders. Sometimes we eat and hurl. It's all about control. Because they're telling me that you're struggling. You're trying to fight these feelings. You're trying to not feel the emotion. You're trying not to feel anything. You're trying to just go and do and forward and forward and forward and forward. You're going into the brick wall so much that you're banging your head and your head is bleeding. Because it's saying you're losing a pound a day regardless of your weight, and I can't fight this feeling anymore. Which means that you are so stressed out. You are stressed out. And you are trying real hard not to feel these feelings and emotions, but you really, 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 really need to feel them because you can't be a rhino and charge through everything. You can't. You can't. At some point, you do have to have discipline with your determination. You 100 have to. You can't just be determined to storm in. Because you've got all of this grief. But let's face it, you're storming into shit because you don't want to deal with that grief. Well, your family member is saying, remember all the times I inhaled to say I love you, instead of all of the times I stopped breathing. Do not remember my last breath. Do not remember the way I died. Do not remember that. Do not remember that. Remember all of the times I inhaled to say I love you. Because you're holding your loved one on the other side behind from their review of what they're supposed to do. Because when you go to the other side, because there is no heaven and hell, hate to tell ya, there's nothing of that. You just go to the other side. Unless you're a narcissist. You don't get to go anywhere. And you don't get to stay here. When you go to the other side, when you pass away. It's like you wake up out of a bed. It's like you're a hospital patient. You wake up out of the bed. You get used to life again, wherever it is, however it's going to feel normal to you. And then gradually you're brought into a big giant pool that's standing up. You get to sit down. The people who are passed away go around the pool. You get to look in the pool at the people who are alive. And you get to see and hear and visually see how you've affected absolutely everybody's life around you. And that's what your loved one needs to do. And because you can't get out of your grief. Now, I'm not talking about it's grief and we're handling it and we're going little by little. Oh, no. You're just crying all the time. You are just grief city. You literally functionally cannot get out of your grief to the point that it is disabling you. Maybe you can get out to work, but you're going home afterwards. And how many years has it been? How many? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I'm being told. 15, 11, 17, something about 35. Do you want to be that old? Do you want to have that home that is the perfect 1960s home because your husband died in 1965 and you couldn't bear to change a goddamn thing? And you died in 2020. Do you want to be stuck? Because your person on the other side does not want to be stuck. And I have like this angel here going, yeah, y'all got to cut the shit and clip it because they're done. They need this person. And it's like a group of people on the other side to be able to do their review so that they can go on and do these things and heal so that you can go on your journey and heal, because that's kind of the way it goes. Like sometimes we get paired. Sometimes you're coming down on your own. Sometimes you're kind of getting paired up in this little thing where you're all kind of like whatever and you're doing your thing and you're learning and growing and somebody dies and here you are. You have to stop. Yeah. Because right now there's no success for you. You know, you're lost. It's like your feminine is too feminine and your masculine is too masculine, and all together it's just a clusterfuck. And spirit needs you to stop doing that. Like, I'm not kidding you. Like, they need you to stop. Like, I'm being told that someone's person died during COVID and you can't function. You couldn't have the burial you wanted. You had to do this, that. They're telling you, I'm sorry, it's 2025. Your person has to move on. I'm also being told, think about it what it was like during the AIDS pandemic when no one could bury their person. Do you know what that's like? For your person to die of AIDS and all of a sudden they have to be cremated and that's not what you want? You're not the first to go through this. And this might be tough love. This might be really, really harsh. But I am being told this is a person that needs this, because everybody else listening to this understands that at some point you have to put grief in its place. You have to say, grief, I'm going to feel you. You're going to be there. It's going to suck. But I also have to go on with my life. So sometimes you got to put grief on the shelf and start to feel the happy and start to feel these things. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to find who you are. You're not going to find yourself. And that's the point of this. Your person has passed away. Who are you without them? And that's the next journey for you. You know? Who are you without them? Finding who you are. And I'm being told that's one of the scariest things you can do, is have to find out who you are without the other person in your life. Whether that's a spouse, a parent, a best friend. Some of you could have gotten divorced and not expected it, and now you're grieving this divorce loss 5, 6, 7 years later. Move on. Your partner did. Because if they really loved you, they would have tried. They would have done the therapy. They would have wanted to. But they didn't. Let them go. I know this is harsh. I know this is tough. You might not even like the way I sound, but I'm being told by Spirit, this is what you need to hear. You might think I sound overly strict like a mother. Well, what would your mom say? What would your dad say? What would your person say? Stop grieving. And it doesn't mean stop grieving as in don't have any feelings, emotions. It means you stop grieving to this extent. And I'm being told this sounds very harsh in human. It does sound very harsh in human. But I'm also a human that's had to grieve, Spirit. I'm going to step aside for a second. I'm also a human that has had to grieve. I've grieved the loss of my grandparents, my mother. I'm a single-parented only child that never knew their father. I am alone in the world. I have no siblings. I have had to move past this grief of my mother. I miss her every single day. It's been 20 years, Spirit. But even I had to get to a point where I realized this wasn't normal because my aunt who lives across the street, she hasn't stopped grieving. Every single day when she worked, she would go to the cemetery and have lunch there with my grandparents. That's not normal. You do not go to the cemetery for 15, 16, 17 years. To have lunch every day with your parents. No, you don't do that. That's not mentally healthy. That's not being able to accept that your loved one has passed away. And by the time my grandparents passed away, they had been very ill for a while. And my mom, she had been extremely ill for a while. Nobody has accepted anything well. What are you going to do? And that's the thing. Sometimes people don't accept things well. My family does not like the fact that I wouldn't put my mother on life support. My mother had non-alcoholic cirrhosis of the liver due to hepatitis C, and she was at the end stages of her life. Her DNR and her health care, all of her paperwork, and she was a nurse for 40 years, said absolutely no life support. I was her healthcare proxy. I had to make that decision. My family still hasn't gotten over this loss. And I'm saying that in a way where what I mean is it's not that you get over the loss of the person that's passed away. It's that you put this loss where it needs to be so you can go on with your life. And you can go on with your life in a way where at Christmas, you know that one Christmas song is going to come on. It's going to hit you. Maybe you're going to cry, or maybe, you know, this year you just, oh, it's on and I'm singing to it. Because I'm feeling the joy and I'm feeling the sadness and I'm balancing the two out, and I'm realizing I can't be sad all the time because I really, really like a Christmas song. I like the Christmas song by Nat King Cole. I can't be sad about all this all the time. I can't stop doing the things that make me joy because the person I love has passed away, because that just makes their healing on the other side, their soul reflection, harder to do. So, I love how they just said, no one's trying to be callous, but we are being callous. But we're also ripping off the scab because you've been doing this so long that you need to be told. This is not you've been grieving a year or two and you're trying to kind of figure out and place it where it's supposed to go. This is you've been grieving so long and so hard that you haven't even tried to fit life in without this person. This is how grave this is. This is not good. And so your spirits and your spirit guides are saying, there is an angel and a spirit on the other side saying, for you guys that are doing this, you've got to stop because this is not helping your people on the other side. Yeah. And they're telling me it's time for you to meet yourself in a way that you've never met yourself before, because you can't plan for the future if you don't have one. If you don't, like they're telling me, you can't plan for your future if you can't see anything in the horizon because you're so consumed. You have to take the consummation away, and you have to start to meet yourself so that you can see the future, so you can see yourself, so that you can see where you're going. And for some of you, you really need to know you did everything you were supposed to do. Even if you don't think you did, you did. And your person is saying thank you. So if you're someone like me where you had to make decisions, like you had to sit with a whole bunch of doctors and make that decision to not put your parent or your spouse or your loved one on life support, I'm being told that you did exactly what you were supposed to do. That was what they wanted you to do. If there was a sudden accident and the doctors came in and said, they're not going to make it, put them on life support, they're not going to make it, and you made the choice not to put them on life support, and you think that they would have made it had you, they're telling me they would never have made it. They were not going to make it. The best thing you did was not put them on life support because it didn't extend their suffering. Okay? So you may have had to have made big decisions in a very quick moment. And your loved one on the other side wants you to take comfort in the fact that you did everything you were supposed to do. You should not feel guilty about anything because you did what was right. You allowed them to cross with dignity. You allowed them to go to the other side. But the problem is you are grieving, thinking that you've done the wrong thing, and you have not. You did the right thing. You did everything that you were supposed to do in the moment you were supposed to do it. They're proud of your bravery in this. But sometimes being that brave can also be that scary because you don't have that person around who would normally hug you and say, yeah, you did it. Don't worry, you got it. But I got you. Hold on. Let me hug you. Oh, don't worry. You got it. You did it. You did wonderful. I love you. Oh, big hugs. Big hugs. Big hugs. Big hugs. We got big hugs. Big hugs for you guys. I don't know what that looked like. Who cares? You got hugs. I'm also being told that people who love you should change you for the better. So if you're grieving, okay, so if you're grieving and you have other people who are not helping your grieving, like you're grieving, you're having moments, but you're having people who are making your moments worse or belittling your moments, step away from those, because people that love you should change you for the better. People that love you should be holding your hand and helping you to ease your grief. There are some people that like to keep people in grief because they like it. They like to play with that. And just be forewarned of that, okay? And the last thing I want to say is, remember, the turtle won the race. It doesn't matter how slow you grieve, as long as you're putting that grief where it needs to go. Okay? And if that means you're going to get therapy, get therapy. If that means you're talking to a friend who's willing to sit there and talk about it with you, then do that. If this means that you're writing everything down and you're journaling and you're doing all of this stuff and you're watching the self-help videos to try to help yourself, do that. Just know when to stop looking. Okay? Because you can look a little too much. And then you can go down rabbit holes that sometimes can be overwhelming. If something is overwhelming, if something doesn't make sense to you, back out of it. You know, that's a sign that that's not what you're supposed to, be listening to. And don't listen to the creepy psychological ones. Just look for the real truth. Look it up online. The stages of grieving. These are important things. Oh, throat chakra. I'm also being told talking about this will help ease a lot. Excuse me, pardon me. Okay. That is your reading for the day. And, yeah. Okay. All right then. Okay. Be good, behave, be happy, be yourself. Always be kind, and I love you. And remember, grief is in stages. It takes time. But you also can't sit in it to the point that you're not being who you are, okay? You can go to the campground and grieve, but you can't live there. Eventually, you have to get up and go back in the kitchen to do some dishes, okay? All right. I love you guys, and you got this. Bye.